Okay, here's the philosophy of the day. Why do I do what I do? And who inspired me to start what I'm doing? Um, when I was a kid growing up, I was always fascinated with wildlife. I actually started out with dinosaurs. When I was like 5 or 6 years old, I used to love dinosaurs. And when I started going to school in grade school, I really started getting I developed a fascination with reptiles and amphibians. I used to carry around a herpetology guide with me everywhere I went. I used to borrow them from the school library. And as I started getting older, I used to watch a lot of TV shows. And I don't think there's anybody who inspired me more than Steve Irwin. Steve Irwin was a one-of-a-kind man. He was one of a kind. And his enthusiasm and his love for nature and his love for conservation really stuck with me all this time. So far, my life's been pretty bumpy. I was in the Marines for about 4 years. I got out. I was married. I was divorced. I have 2 beautiful kids, 2 sons. And I think one of my biggest problems in life is that I never stayed true to myself. I never stayed true to myself, and I never pursued what I knew I always should have pursued, and that was wildlife education, conservation, and trying to pull as many people as I can to love wildlife and want to protect it. And Steve Irwin was the #1 man that really inspired me and instilled that love for nature in me. And I'm sure there were other good shows on at the time, like Jeff Corwin and the Kratz Creatures and all the other guys that were on, but not like Steve Irwin. He was a one-of-a-kind dude. And yes, last week was his birthday, and I would have loved to have been in a world where he was alive all this time. Just imagine all the things that he could have done. But he created a legacy. His family continues his legacy. And there are a lot of people around the world that continue on with conservation and the desire to preserve wilderness areas, because we're losing species every day. Every day, species are going extinct. They're getting closer to extinction. They're becoming endangered. They're losing their habitat all around the world. Just in my area alone, for instance, we lost the eastern cougar, the eastern elk, the Carolina parakeet, the ivory-billed woodpecker, the Labrador duck, all these beautiful animals that I wish I had the opportunity to see. And those people took that from me. They took my ability to see those animals away. They took my ability to see those species away. And I don't want that to happen anymore. I don't want to take species away from my great-grandkids. I don't want to take species away from people that are going to live 1,000 years from now. We are not the only species. I mean, we are not the only generations that are going to exist on this planet. There are going to be hundreds and hundreds of generations that come before us. I mean, that come after us. And for us to use the planet the way we've been using it is completely unacceptable. And I feel like the message that Steve Irwin and other conservationists have been trying to relay to the public is not getting across very well. And I feel like we have to do a better job at captivating the next generation to want to preserve the species that we have left on this planet. And so that's my philosophy of the day. All right.